start. Let's start. Let's start. Let's start.
Yes, welcome to the bonus footage episode number 71. We have Ty in the building. All the guys are here. Big Wahala is here. Simple Simon is here. That actor is here. Mr. Wolf is here. I am Stavros Boss. And we have Ty. Say hello, Ty.
Hello, greetings.
We have finished the main podcast, and now we just got into a hip hop conversation, and we're talking about his music and hip hop in general. And we thought, let's just do a little extra bonus thing for those of you that want to hear it, and he can also promote this himself. So, what were we talking about just before we got cut off from before?
I was kind of referencing the idea of old school music, and I'm realizing that because I hear that term a lot, and it is old school. But also, what happens is, depending on what era you listen to or grew up with.
So we're talking about your album has been described as old school.
Yeah, sounding old school. I think what it is that really the 90s was the greatest era. The 80s to 90s was the greatest era of hip hop in regards to it was at its strongest at that moment. So anything that sounds like that now is going to be referenced as old school. But then the same as in that era, old school was electro and other things. So it's just like how people take Afrobeats and Afrobeat and then say it's the same thing.
No.
Of course it's not. Right? But so that happens. That happens a lot. So just to explain, like my album, Work of Heart, I come from a school of trying to make a particular sound of music. It's we don't set out to make boom bap music or to make old school music, but what it is, I'm trying not to do a particular thing. And the reason why I'm trying not to do a particular thing is because I don't know if you guys have read a book by Trisha Rose called Hip Hop Wars. No, there's a book by her where she breaks down the manipulation of hip hop music in America and how in 1993 a particular thing happened, and from that moment when BET was sold, corporations started influencing the music sound and what was happening.
Yeah, I got that.
Viacom.
The gangster
Viacom,
rap. Gangster
all of
rap,
that. But not just gangster rap, but just because gangster rap was around before 1993, but basically
it had a revolutionary twinge to it.
Yeah, but anything of that kind of culture was kind of sussed out and was like, nope, squeezed out. So the music I'm making, I'm trying to not be influenced by radio or record company programming, because a lot of what a youth are into right now has been programmed in regards to, there was laws passed in the UK where they tried to pass a white paper to make sure that they would never have a group like Public Enemy again allowed to come over here. When the government can be that serious about the influence of hip hop culture, then you start to realize, oh wow, you lot really are watching. So the music I'm making is me trying to not imagine. Radio wise, I can see, okay, they're pushing a particular thing, or they're pushing a particular sound, or they're pushing a particular, there's grime youths that are conscious but are not getting any platform. But there's grime youths that are just saying anything silly and they're getting everything. So because I'm seeing that kind of manipulation, I'm trying to make a particular sound of music. And I'm glad that when you heard it, you got that kind of college background feel, because that's what, when we're working out the bass lines and all that sort of thing, that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make 90s music.
You're trying to resonate with that vibe though,
basically.
Yeah, and that's what I got from listening to the album, without a doubt.
I found it interesting though. Well, I didn't find it interesting because I kind of know you, so I expected it. But you have obviously grime is massive in the UK anyway. For us, it's the forefront of what we would call. In fact, let's start off. Do you think grime is an extension of hip hop?
I think grime is the next wave, and also I feel like grime youths, how I look at grime music is that's my little brothers that are doing really well.
Okay, so but do you think it's an extension of hip hop though?
I think it's an extension of hip hop, and also it's an extension of UK music revolutionizing itself. So it's about identity. Like grime is the extension of not just hip hop; it's the extension of young black males feeling like they have an identity and somehow becoming geniuses and making, their music something that's viable for everyone. So what I want to say is, you can listen to a grime record abroad and straight away you feel like, oh yeah. If you hear Dizzy Russell, you're like,
East London.
Yeah. And they've done it.
It's an identity. Yeah. Okay, but because the reason I'm asking is because I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking maybe you might have a grime artist on your album.
Okay, so there's a simple reason for that. I don't do what this music thing. Like I took a particular path to do it. So my parents absolutely were not like, yo, you doing this hip hop thing? No. This is, you're supposed to be a chemist. You're supposed to be a lawyer. That's what they wanted. I'm out on a limb doing what I'm doing. I've got to do what I want to do. I don't deal with marketing. So when it comes to like, a lot of times when people, this new generation really are really focused on, I need to have a girl on the song. I need to have a light-skinned girl in the background. I need to have this man on the chorus. And then if I have an Israeli man, then maybe the Israeli market. That's how a lot of people think. I don't think like that when it comes to music. Music-wise, it's all about what's going on in front of you. What do you need to do?
There must be some grand artists that think like you, though.
There are, but I'm not criticizing what they're doing. I'm just saying how I work. How I work, it's all about the music, and it's not about marketing. It's not about if I put Dizzy Rascal on a record, maybe Radio 1 will. No, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about the song.
It's not a commodity. It's a life.
Yeah, okay. Literally, I'm trying to. I bought this record in a charity shop. I found a wicked sample on it. I'm trying to make it into a song. Hip hop for me is
process,
a process, and also a puzzle. You know, like you have something that you have to finish. You have to kind of, you know what I mean? Like whether it's paying for a meal or whatever it is, you have to do it. Whether it's acting or whether it's accounting or
compulsion. You've got the compulsion.
Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm not even like, every time I pop up my head to bring new music, I'm never watching social media thinking, if I get this person and I just happen to I happen to somehow interact with Dirty Goods, and then we have a history where actually some of the people that he was working with, right, told him when he was young, you need to check tie. And then he sent me an email, even when he was popping, like a little bit later, and was like, you know what, a man told me about you and I get it now, blah, blah, blah. So we kept in contact, and then when I found the platform to kind of do something with him, I did something with him and Akala, then I did something for him for his album, and then he did something for me. So we just it's constantly, and we're both aware of the fact of, wow, this will mess people's heads up. Why are these two working together? But actually, it really works.
I think it's, as you put it, you're not trying to do something, you're not doing a building block kind of thing. It's not Lego. You're not like the pieces you say, this is the piece I need, this is the piece I need, the light-skinned girl, I need the this, I need the that, I need the radio track. It's actually like your album says, it's a work of heart, stroke art. It's the art. And I think there's a few people in here that claim to be artists. And I think, I don't even think you even have to explain it. You understand it straight away. It's like, it's something inside you. It's like, I have to do it. Yeah. This is, and it doesn't matter if it's gonna, if everyone's telling me you're gonna fail, if everyone's pushing me in another direction.
People have been telling me I'm ugly, I'm not relevant, I'm not people have been telling me that my whole life. So when it comes to making music or doing what I'm doing, like, yo, I wasn't even supposed to be here. So I'm approaching this whole thing like, right, okay, I got to do what I'm doing. I really, you know what, from childhood, and I say this because we talked about the African thing, Jamaica. From when you grow up with a disdain where people don't like you, it hardens you. It makes you realize, you know what, I just got to do what I'm doing. So even now, even though I've got love in my heart for everybody,
it breaks some people.
Yeah, it does break some people. But for me, it actually made me stronger, and it made me like, there's certain things that I don't do. Like, you know, when we was talking earlier and we was like, which tribe are you? Blah blah blah. I'm proudly Igbo, but I've learned not to get caught up in dissing Yorubas or dissing. I'm not doing all that.
Igbo Kweno.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Yeah. And what I'm trying to say is, like, this attitude from young helped me understand even the process of making music. Like, yo, you just got to make what you want to do.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the wrong or right way. I'm just saying that's the approach. The approach is, I'm never watching what Radio 1 is doing. I'm never watching what Dizzy Rascal's doing. I'm never watching what anyone else is doing. I'm always going to just make what I'm doing and then work from there.
Okay, so you're not watching anybody now?
No.
Who did you watch before when you was younger that made you feel like this is what I want to do?
Okay, the genesis, the beginning. So I watched a group called Cookie Crew.
Hey! Okay.
Yeah.
Big up Cookie Crew, man.
Yeah, big up. So, you know,
Let me finish.
Susie and Debbie. Like, for me, I had a moment where I was in my kitchen,
People don't know
black and white TV. Do you remember when they were on Top of the Pops?
Yes. I got it on video somewhere.
That was a big moment. So I remember that. So my parents, my mum, I had something going on in the house. I was supposed to be tidying up, and then my sister tried to snitch on me because I was watching TV, and my mum was like, "Shh, let him watch that. It's very. I can see this is serious. Let him watch it." And that was my first moment of my parents understanding that this hip hop thing means something to me. And watching two black women on Top of the Pops doing hip hop. Not even the men. Watching the women, because Debbie's and Cookie, they're very Debbie's the same person, so she's very close to me, and I just feel like that was one of the things that I saw that I was like, okay. And then obviously Overlord X and your family and all of that, all of that world opened up to me, and that's definitely the beginning.
You touched on something that's so important about the different. Remember we spoke earlier, actually, talking about how hip hop has changed in different ways. Hello. Yeah. Hip hop has changed in different ways and how it was working and how things are, and you said that the 90s, I think you said the late 80s, early 90s is the best stage of hip hop. And you know why I think that you're correct and you're right? It's because you had everything you wanted in that era.
Yeah.
So you had De La Soul, you had Tribe Called Quest,
you had NWA.
Yes, then you had NWA. Then in the early 90s, you had people like Nas, you had people like Biggie Smalls,
Public Enemy.
Yeah. All of these people were all in the same ecosystem. Functioning
MC Hammer
together. MC Hammer all there. Functioning together.
You had Booyah Tribe. You had Mellow Man Ace. And what I'm trying to say is you had culturally people of all different backgrounds, and hip hop was teaching you to respect them.
Yes.
And that's something that
all successful in their own right.
I think what you're saying now is that, like, if we look at social media and all the uproar with this, you have an opinion. It's different than my opinion. Uproar. You have an opinion. It's different than my uproar. What you just said about respecting. Everybody had their own way of looking at hip hop. Everyone had their own angle. I'm the gangster rapper. I'm the teacher. I'm the prophet. I'm the Jungle Brothers. Happy, whatever. But
LL Cool J.
It all came from the love of the same. It was. We all were part of hip hop. We all respected each other's point of view.
No,
London Posse.
They kicked some people off stage.
Who? KRS-One. Yeah, but that's because they insulted him personally.
But also KRS-One is also a hypocrite.
Very true.
Very much a hypocrite. So don't KRS-One's holier than thou thing, and blah blah blah. I teach hip hop and stuff. He messes up. Everybody messes up. Everyone messes up. What I will say is I just come off tour with Cypress Junkies, which is part of Cypress Hill and part of Beat Junkies, the DJ turntable. Okay. The stories that they were telling me in regards to how, obviously we hear the records, but they're on tour together. So, all these people, Eazy-E, blah, 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 they weren't like some I'm too fucking hard for you. And they were friends. So we don't see that. We don't see the fact of that this whole generation, this period of time, whether it's MC Hammer, whether it's Eazy-E, whether it's De La Soul, whether it's, The Boss or whoever it is, these people knew each other and they still interact and come out for each other. Like you might see Yo-Yo's kind of made a resurgence. She's out and again, she's bringing...
Is she?
Yeah, she's out and about. She's doing shows and she's bringing certain female MCs out and about. And there's a relationship that we view it as only on record and video. So just to show you an example, Cypress Hill, they showed me something I didn't know. Cypress Hill, we thought they were East Coast group only because they shot the first video.
No, I knew they were.
No, but the first video that they made them famous, the How I Could Just Kill a Man, it blew up on Your MTV Raps, but it blew up because they filmed that in New York.
Yeah.
So we don't know the backstory.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So having moments where I can kind of speak with these people as peers and get this information really helped me understand that, you know what, your understanding of hip hop culture isn't just defined by what the UK music industry will allow you to think of yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
The hot topic at this present moment in time is misogyny. That is a hot topic.
Misogynoir.
Yeah? It's a very hot topic. And going back to what we were just talking about then, do you remember there was a time when obviously Queen Latifah was saying things like ladies first?
Right.
Who you calling a bitch?
Right.
You had people like Monie Love that was coming out, in the Daisy Crew, she was rolling with... She was as big as De La Soul in that and Tribe Called Quest at the time.
That's right.
You had
big up for not aging.
ever. Still look good. You had Salt and Pepper coming out being as sexual as they want.
I got a query though. Monie Love, what has she done for UK music? She's on radio, right?
In America.
Do you see her playing anything from the UK?
No, she's not.
Okay, just to carry on.
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm not putting her in that type of level. But
how old would she be now? She would have spent as much time, if not more,
yeah,
in America than she did here.
But she's not American.
She's not 50 yet. Yeah,
she's not American.
From Battersea, man.
She's been over there good
South
20
London.
years
She's
now.
not American.
but she's been on radio more time than she's been on stage.
She's on radio with that guy that done Yo MTV Rap. So
Yeah, Ed Lover.
that's it. Yeah.
But I'm saying in regards the level of how people respected the women at that stage
Was high.
was really high. You see how hip hop has changed and evolved to the point now where they're looked at as sex symbols only.
It's all
It's
the
part
system.
of the thing you
It's
mentioned
part of the
earlier,
system.
wasn't it?
It's all
The
systematic.
agenda thing that
Yeah.
happened.
1993 September. That's in the book. She explains that was when everything consolidated, and that's when Clear Channel started controlling what could be allowed. So the De La Soul were told, we're no longer playing your videos. So from the Stakes is High period onwards, they were told.
Rest in peace, Dilla.
Yeah, they were told, you know what? We don't understand your video. It's over our heads. We're not using it. I was told the same thing by Channel U. So imagine, like the Wait a Minute song was one of the first songs that was on Channel U. When I fast forwarded onto the period of Closer and stuff like that, they turned around and said, Emotions. They turned around and said, this is over the heads of the youth. We can't play this. And when people say stuff like that, I'm like, I get it from a marketing level, but I also wonder, so who made you in control of what young people can consume? And is your heart pure when you're doing that?
Yeah. Sorry, this is a personal question now. I said one of your albums, in my opinion, is joint best UK hip hop album of all time.
With
I'll get to that in a moment.
okay,
What album do you think I'm talking about? What is your favorite album, and what album do you think I mean when I'm saying it's joint best?
I think I would obviously think it was Upwards,
Okay.
right? And I just also want to say to you something now. Let me drop it in the podcast so people, I won the Mercury.
Yeah, you said
You said it was nominated.
Yes,
No. You're right. I was nominated. Franz Ferdinand won it that year, officially.
Yeah.
But unofficially, I won it. And then they changed their mind.
See, yeah, because if he won, I would know that he won.
No, yeah.
He won it, but still.
I mean, no, I was nominated. So just like you get nominated. That year it was Amy Winehouse, Franz Ferdinand, Sebastian and some Bell, some certain band. I won it. A judge came up to me drunk and was like, my son's a fan of yours, so I voted for you. But, and he told me, you won it. And then Edith Bowman made them go back in the room and come up with another conclusion, because that year, because what had happened is, I think it was Miss Dynamite and Dizzy Rascal. I was either in between them. They'd ever won it before.
Too many
blacks winning. So I won that Mercury. And
So
then
politics.
But I'm just dropping that so people know, because I don't, I can't be worried about whether they'll nominate me again. I'd rather people know that this is the type of tricks that they play, so people kind of get it.
Okay, so what's your favorite UK hip hop album, and what do you think I'm comparing your Upwards album, which yes, correctly. That's the album.
If it's the album that I think of it, I can't compare it. As far as I'm concerned, the Demon Boys album is the Demon Boys' first album, Recognition, is the best.
I don't even know it.
Yeah, I like that was the best album.
What era is that?
Before my everyone talks about London Posse. Yeah. They came out at the same time, but
Demon Boys went missing though.
Demon Boys, they got some, like, I think Demon D had some issues, drug issues, and Mike kind of became Mike J became, he's got another name, and he's an artist in his own right, but he's still making dope music. He's got an incredible flow. But that album, Head and Shot, it's the thing that had the most detail that made everyone
okay. I need
pay
to go
attention.
back. I need to go back. Well, that's something I need to go back. I was saying the Kalashnikov, the Sagas of.
Yeah, I would say if there was no Demon Boys album, Kalashnikov wouldn't happen. It's levels, because you see, Kalashnikov is an MC rapping over someone's beats and doing incredible songs. Demon Boys were a group, so you can hear the DJ doing his thing. You can hear the DJs choosing certain music, Captain scratching, they're laughing and joking. You can hear it all in the album. Like it. Demon Boys, they were produced by a group called Twilight Firm. Twilight Firm were eventually the group that produced the Loose Ends tune, "Don't Be a Fool." They they were ahead of their time.
Okay.
So there's a.
So who did you think it was going to be?
Huh?
You said that if the album that you thought it might be. So what do you think the other album would have been?
I thought it was Demon Boys. That's what I said.
Oh, you thought he was gonna say Demon Boys?
I thought he was going to say Demon Boys because
okay.
I mentioned it because I think I posted it a couple of days ago
Okay.
on Instagram. So yeah.
My question to you is of your body of work, not the ones that were most famous or what have you. Which one is the most
Resonating
for you within your own body of work? Like you've done albums. Which album would you turn around and say, that's my project. That's the project that I really loved.
Okay.
In a different way to the others.
Okay. Because I produced the record. Apart from the first album, I produced all of the records. I would liken it to someone asking you which is your favorite child. Mm-hmm. Like literally, you're like my youths, innit? Like it's what it is.
I'd pick a favorite still, but the one that causes me the least trouble.
Yeah. You the one that walks up to you. Yeah. Okay. I think the Upwards album is my favorite album because it was absolutely no one saw that coming. Nobody saw that coming from the first album, and the way it licked, it opened doors. There's a lot of American artists that were like. That's why the next album had Speech, De La Soul, Bahamadia, because they heard that album, and they were all like, "Whoa!" So that's kind of that happened.
It's strange because it's strange because Twitter obviously opens up avenues sometimes where you can speak to people that you don't necessarily speak to. So one time I tweeted Lethal Bizzle actually, and I said, which one is resonates with you more? Which one do you feel you love more out of Pow, which is probably his biggest song, and Oi? And he tweeted me back. He said, Oi is always going to be my song because without Oi, none of this would happen.
The beginning.
He said none of it would have happened. So Oi is always going to be the one.
And also, Oi was him as a child in a group with other boys. Like
they were his friends.
Yeah,
actually his friends. I know this because we used to go to school around.
Yeah, Ozzy
and they were his friends, and they made a song. And I suppose you're never gonna have that when you get bigger and more famous. You're never gonna really know these people are your friends or for who they are or who you are or what you can provide for them. I suppose.
Funny story. Like when Channel U popped off and they all became famous, I remember meeting them, and I told Ozzy, I was like, "Yo, my mum loves your verse." Because I used to watch Channel U at my mum's house. And, to this day, every time I kind of interact with him, he's like, yeah, how's mum? Like he's like, and people don't know that. People assume that everyone's like, yeah, I'm over here. People have conversations like Bruiser. We have conversations where it's like, yeah, my mum loved you, and people actually appreciated that. You wouldn't assume that a grime artist appreciates you telling them that their mum.
What's going on there?
And maybe the FBI.
I'm trying to cut you off.
No, we're good. Yeah. So yeah, that was something that I always thought it was kind of nice and touching that you'd have someone that would be appreciative of knowing that someone's mum listens to them.
Do you know? Go on.
Guys, remember, don't be strangers. Yeah. Do you feel there's camaraderie in the UK scene then?
I think there's. I think there's as much camaraderie as there's supposed to be. Like, I feel like when there are people in the music industry that are actively making sure that the younger generation don't interact with the older generation. A lot of people that are in the mix, whether they're journalists or and it's that whole thing of like the metaphor of a family. Like if you have a barbecue and you kind of know, right, okay, that's Uncle Philip. And that's my little niece, and you're kind of, whether you get on, you kind of have that thing of every couple of years you'll back up. The music industry is very comfortable with that barbecue never happening, that relationship never forming, and unfortunately, the camaraderie that should be there, I feel, as most of it has been engineered by people that understand. Okay, we need to control this thing, and you can see, like the grime generation, you can see how the music industry has made sure that, okay, you can come in the door, but and this happened for all of them. You can come in the door, but you can't bring your friends. You can come in the door, but you must make dance music. You can come, like you see it with Dizzy.
Yeah, Dizzy was the one.
You see it with Chip
the most, man.
You see it with Miss Dynamite. You see it with Lethal Bizzle. All of them were in something bigger, and then they got plucked out. And then you see eventually they've got to make dance music, and then they're not really. You notice that they can't. Only some of them can do it. They can't go back to what they actually made in the first place.
Yeah, Dizzy tried it at the last album, but not everyone accepted that. Do you know what? My favorite song of yours, I don't think it's been on any of your albums. And I spoke to you about it one time. And you said you were going to send it to me. You still ain't sent it to me. I'm upset.
Oh, who's the DJ that sent it to me?
You got it?
Yeah.
I don't have it.
DJs, I know the song. This is how deep it is.
All right. The song that I remember is, and I didn't know who you was. I never met you before this happened. In fact, I met you after this. The song that I love of yours is In My Zone.
Zones. Yes.
That is my favorite Thai song ever.
Well,
And I remember you play it I remember hearing it on the radio.
What year is that?
And
that's got to be 1997.
I remember hearing it on the radio, and I remember pressing the 2 buttons to record and play. Recording it, and I used to listen to that song.
It's probably me that record.
All the time.
Sipping on Haagen-Dazs, listening to MCD and Nas. Something like that.
Because MCD, in my opinion, was the greatest UK
my goodness.
lyricist.
That was like
his stuff.
You were talking about Angela Bassett them times. That's what you know,
right.
yeah?
That's right.
You were talking about Angela Bassett them times.
Yes, I was. And I'll talk
1997.
about her now.
Yeah, she's done well.
That is my favorite Thai song.
I was ready to go Angela Bassett, you know, but let's stay on the music. Carry on.
That was my favorite Thai song, and it resonates with me because it was a part of my youth.
Right.
I was young at the time when that came out, and I will never forget it.
It was on Facebook where I think I had a status or something saying, I want this song. I cannot find it anywhere. I can't do it. And a DJ reached out to me, and I can't remember his name.
Was it DJ Bounce?
Yes.
Yeah, he sent me the same thing. I didn't have it.
Because I think I tagged...
Yeah, I asked you. You said you didn't have it.
I tagged you.
I didn't have it. Then he sent it to me.
I tagged you.
But he sent it to him.
I tagged...
So get off me, bro.
Yeah.
Pay for the meal.
I tagged Ty and I said, bruv, yeah, I'll buy your albums and everything, yeah. I can't find this song.
I remember that.
Sort me out.
Yeah.
And you said, I don't have it. And I'm like, what? And then he jumped in and said, I've got it. I said, please. He inboxed me.
Yeah.
And then he sent it to me, and,
Yeah.
and he must have sent it to you as well.
Why are you saying it to me, bro?
Bruv, this is how many years ago, man? This is a good long years ago, man.
Find it.
I've got it somewhere because he sent it to me.
Yeah, find it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, as brothers, you got to sort this out. Like, you know?
I don't like him. Let me see if I can find it on my thing and play the thing. I might have it.
So extraterrestrials exist. You have to send one album out into space to let them know what your life experience is about.
Wow.
Does it have to be his album or
It
any
has
album?
to be his album.
It has to be one of my albums that I send.
Yeah. It has to be one of your albums that you send. And the idea is they're supposed to have a good understanding of...
I would send the new album.
You send a new one.
I'd send Work of Heart because there's enough bits in there where they can get, like Marathon talks about depression.
Yep.
Work of Heart is just me flexing. Different songs like You Gave Me is kind of me referencing mum and dad and what they, what they mean. But also without calling it a mum and dad song.
Yeah.
Work of Heart, I'd go with that.
Okay.
Great question.
Well, I'm just gonna play this in the background, because I actually have the song.
That is not Thai.
I was like,
easy.
I made this. I was like, I could do.
This is Shorty Blitz produced it, yeah?
No,
But it's on his mixtape.
yeah. So, sure, he didn't produce anything we did.
Who produced this one?
You.
Okay.
This is me with DJ with Solihin, the producer. So Solihin produced it. I co-produced it with him.
This is one of my favorite beats of all time as well.
Hold on,
Alright.
this is how deep it is. Let's just let people listen to a little bit of it.
Then she takes the piss on my mobile phone. Run up the bill, now the tariff is stone. So when I shoot the sheriff, she respects the chrome. I know she's digging the bone. Shakes my shoulder in the morning, screaming she's fantastic. Kiss me on the neck, I'm thinking Angela Bassett.
97, bro.
All right.
I used to feel like
Thai. How?
The reason why I'm saying let's hold it down because people that are listening might only listen to that and think, okay, this is the music we're talking about. Whereas that's like 1996, 7.
Do you want to play something new and talk about that?
Um,
Do you want to pick a song and we can discuss it? I've got it all here. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's up to
be
you,
careful
man.
what you wish for, innit?
What's
It's
your
your
favourite
world,
track
bruv,
off
it's
the
your
new
world.
album?
I think
man?
it's your podcast, it's your interview, so I think you should choose. I really don't like telling people what songs to play.
Pick Brixton, man.
This man love Brixton, you know.
Pick it, man. I'm there. I actually
In fact, let me just cancel that. Allegedly, I'm always around Brixton. Put it this way, I'll see you around there as well.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Now I know to say hello.
Now you got this tunnel vision thing going on, bro.
Yeah, but you know what, Brixton. That's what we don't talk about. We don't talk about if you grow up in an area, right? And it's hard for me to talk over music. Sorry. If you grow up in an area and you remember when it was Wild Wild West, even as you grow up as an adult, there's still a bit of that in you where it's like, okay, let me go where I'm going. Let me not look into anybody's eyes for too long, because
South London, we understand.
We did. It was like, I mean, I'm sure it was like that all over.
Yeah, let me tell you this. Put it this way: the 2 Brixton riots, we just happened to be coming from church on both of them. So we're in the car, driving home through Brixton, on our way to eat or what have you, and there was cars on fire and people running around, and that's what I experienced as a kid, and that's what my first memories of Brixton were.
What does Brixton mean to you then, Ty? Seeing as you made a song about it, you talk about it on your rhymes for the past 2 decades. It's important to you.
Brixton to me means Black Britain, and where some of them were, and Brixton to me is the unpicking of confusion around African and Caribbean people, and learning to coexist and love Caribbean culture.
Without a doubt.
I learned that. I am a member of the Black community because of what I experienced in Brixton growing up, whether good or bad. Like like when we was across the road just now, big up, shout to Yum Yums, food place over there. I said to them, like, this, I'm not used to this service. You lot are just so polite. This is beautiful, because where I come from, you know what I mean? Like, you can't walk into a food place and just have a decent conversation unless it's a particular restaurant that's very gentrified now. It's very kind of like, yeah, what you want? Like,
how do I know which one you're talking about?
Yeah, if you're asking for food, it's almost like you're asking them to do you a favor. And they don't know you.
They aren't.
You know what I mean? So Brixton has all of these connotations. Like I learned Caribbean culture, I learned African culture, I learned Black culture, and Brixton will always remind me of that. Even though it's changing, it will always remind me of the beauty, the excellence in just being normal and Black.
How did you feel when Red Records was removed from Brixton? Because that Red Records is almost
the cornerstone.
It's like
that was the White House.
That's what I'm saying. That was our White House. That's where we went.
Yeah.
Not only to listen to music, to get those, those imports, but to see our friends.
Sometimes you'd walk in the shop and not buy nothing, just to kind of like,
that's what I'm saying.
And then back out. I think I can say that Red Records, when that died and when that moved away, that was definitely the beginning of the change of the Brixton I grew up in to the Brixton it's become now. Definitely the beginning. And how I feel about it is, it's weird. When Red Records was existing, I used to walk in there and I tried to convince them, like, yo, I'm this artist, I'm doing what I'm doing, and blah blah blah, and they were always like, yeah, it's not reggae though, is it? It's not reggae. So if it's not reggae,
come out, Mr.
Yeah, not even come out, just do what you're doing and get on with your life, innit? And then later on, I would see the same people that are in the shop coming to my concerts, or having stalls and saying, yeah, Ty, you need to bring that CD. And I'd always thinking to myself, I wish you lot had a bit more. Yeah, I wish you had a bit more faith.
They evolved just a little bit too late. Maybe
they did, and I wish they didn't, because I think we've lost something since they're not there.
I think it's not just Red Records. I think that all the record stores that have gone and no longer for us in the communities, even the big ones, even HMV and all that stuff.
I mean, technology is the reason.
Yeah, no, I think that it's taken away what you said. There's people that used to link up at the record shops just to either discuss music or just to discuss life.
I think on a higher vibration, I think as Black people, I don't think we've understood the importance of music to our culture.
Yeah.
In regards to like the fact of like our parents' generation and their fascination with ska music And when they came over, everyone that came over with a music, and they, whether it was ska, or whether it was high life, or whether it's whatever. I think that our parents left us a clue but they didn't explain it. And the fact is, you walk with something, you walk with your culture. The music is what it is, and we had it, and then house parties got stopped.
I said it on the podcast. Me and Mr. Wolf have been banging on about house parties being the detriment of the community.
Talking about house parties with 17, 18-year-olds drinking some sort of cheap juice? Or are you talking about the adults and the children?
I'm talking about
the family house party.
Our parties that we used to go, where you tried to have a plastic cup and act like you had already been in there rather than pay the money. Yeah. Where it is the dances, I'm talking about where we actually, and this is, if you think about it, where we actually used to meet girls and dance with them, and relationships would start there.
Some people here are too young for that.
Yeah, some people that are listening are too young for that, and some people that are listening are actually the product of that.
Yeah,
trust me.
Actually, that it was your mum and dad was rubbing and crubbing, and next thing we know,
innit? Why is that? No, there's a little black mark on the wall that's been there from the beginning of time. That's your mama's ass. That was your mama's ass.
I got some news for you, Sonny. You know what I mean? You can be a father. So it's like that element. I think we have the connection to music and food and culture that we just take for granted, and every other culture doesn't. Indian people don't. They're very serious about their food, very serious about their music, very serious about their videos and
language.
Culture. Language. That's serious. Our thing is, because our language, because we've had this, this rip out.
Can I discuss this? Right. There's a film. Is it Arrival? It's the one that came out recently, the sci-fi film. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
I heard about it.
No. Arrival.
I've seen it.
It's the one,
the one from space. Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but there's an important part of this film. Can I talk about it? Can I?
I said the one.
Is anybody not allow me to talk about it, including you, Ty?
No. Go ahead. Okay. Please go ahead.
So in this film, Arrival, aliens come from outer space. Now the way they talk is with signs. Like they put signs like in ink in the air, and that's how they talk. Now they bring an interpreter to find out and decipher this language. Now when she finally doesn't understand the language, she realizes that this aliens have come in peace. Now they don't live in linear time. Their time, they can live in the past, the present, and the future all at once. They can see it all. Their language is a part of that. So once she understands the language, she now too can see. I'm spoiling the film for anyone that's actually hasn't seen it, that's listening. She now can see in the future, the present, and the past, because she now understands the language. Now, there's lots of quotes where people say, once you understand a new language, there are certain things that you can only grasp about a culture
from the language
once you understand language. So I always say, like when somebody hurts themselves and I say, oh, sorry, and an English person will say, why, don't be sorry, you didn't do nothing wrong. And I'm thinking Pele, because the translation for Pele in English, the Yoruba word, is the closest word you can do is sorry, but there is no literal translation for that word. It's just something you say when somebody hurts themselves, and you realize
you can say it for much more than the sentence.
Sorry.
Say it for much more than that.
But my point is, you can't translate that word into English. There is no English translation. There's no English word for it. So I have to use something that you don't understand. It doesn't make sense to you when I translate it. It's the same way when my parents is watching, they hear us comedy in Yoruba and they're laughing, and it's like, what's so funny? I don't understand Yoruba, by the way. And they'll say, oh, he said this and this and this, but it makes no sense in English. Like, you will never laugh. It's not funny. It has to be in Yoruba. There's so much stuff that comes with the language. There's so much of the culture that's within the language.
It's golden.
That we've thrown away because, especially as Nigerians, it's like we want to speak English. We don't even want to understand our language. So
it's codes.
It is,
It's code.
It's code.
Brilliant.
Ciphers.
Yeah, you put it. Yeah. You're a lot quicker than me. I take the long bang. You do it quickly. It's the code, and we're losing the code. I'm sorry to do this sidetrack thing, but I had an argument with Uncle today at work because he was telling me off for not understanding my language. I'm saying my daughter understands more Yoruba than me because my parents are teaching her, and he said, "Well, it's your fault you didn't understand it." And I've had the same argument with my parents, and they say it's my fault, and I say no, it's your fault for not teaching me. And then we were going backwards and forwards, and I said, Uncle, because you talk about what his children, out of 4 of them, the daughter knows it, and he's like, she spent less time in Nigeria than the one that spent years, and he doesn't understand it. I said, if somebody told you before your children were born, for every child you have, if they know how to speak Yoruba and they can kind of like converse in it 50-60% by the time they're 10, and I'm going to give you 100 grand, which one of your children would be able to? He said, all of them. I said, exactly. You made the decision not to teach them, not that they made a decision not to learn.
Okay, so you remember earlier I said to you about, and this is part of the podcast we had, where I said that we become our parents' children.
Yes.
Right? I realized that my parents were socialized into thinking that their language was inferior.
Yep.
And the fact that they came here, they were like, oh my God, this is gingerbread land.
Yep.
Go. Like, I was fostered straight away. They're like, oh, let me give you to white people. It's going to be great. You know, they had that.
That's
right?
a story that people don't talk about.
We're not talking about that, but we need to, right? So what I'm trying to say is, it's our responsibility to realize, wow, you was going through. So Elvis was being played to you at home, in school. You thought everything was what it was. You came over here. You know, you was young. You was younger than I am now, and you was doing certain things, and you made certain decisions. I can't blame you for that decision, but I also understand that, you know, the Council of Nicaea, 3000 AD, Jesus Christ being named certain things, I can never tell you that because you won't accept it. So I'm like, what I'm trying to say is, we get to a point where it's like, yo,
I know this.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say to you is,
Pre-Constantine, buff.
yeah. So we have to accept that, you know what, Mum, I get it. You lot didn't know, and I'm not going to make you feel bad about it. I feel like it's our job to understand, okay, yeah, you lot were socialized, there were skinheads, there was, you know, the black people, you lot weren't cool when you got over here with the fellow black people that were here. There's a lot going on, plus you're trying to work 4 jobs. Yeah, all of that. And then, you know, so you might have made a mistake. And also you see it as parents, you see, like, you might do something with your child and you're like, ooh, I shouldn't have done that. But it's too late now. You know, you've taught them something, or there's a swear word that they hear, and it's what it is. So all I'm saying to you is, I feel like parent-wise, the decisions they made, I don't blame them for it. I now understand why they made them. I suffer for it.
I just don't want them blaming me. That's it. Do what you're doing, but don't say it's your fault you didn't want to learn. No, man, you didn't teach me.
It's their culture to blame you. It's their you got to give them that. It's, you know, like it's like seeing an old Caribbean man just cussing, right? And he's sitting there cussing. It's like, bro, but that's what you do, innit? That's what you're cussing. You're upset, and be upset. Say that thing. That's culture, and we're used to. Don't do that. That's an English thing.
What I will say is that my parents didn't take me away a lot when I was, well, at all, really, when I was younger, and they didn't take me to Nigeria. So I don't feel as comfortable in Nigeria as I would like to. So now what I'm doing with my daughter, who's not yet 2, and she's been to, I think, 6 different countries, and we're going to two more countries in a few months.
So you've learned from it.
But the thing is, because I'm overcompensating, and I'm taking her to Nigeria and Ghana, I want her to feel comfortable. So even though I don't feel comfortable in Nigeria, I'm going to take her every couple of years so she feels comfortable.
So you've learned, you're correcting.
I'm correcting that, but along the way, is there something that my parents taught me that I took for granted, and I'm missing out teaching her? And in 20 years' time, she's going to be like, Dad, you didn't teach me whatever it was.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, wow, because I was so busy trying to show you the world. And imagine, the thing I took for granted, I didn't even
And
show
imagine,
it.
right? Imagine in regards to our parents growing up back home, can you imagine how much overcompensation they did for us to be here? Because you know this, I'm going to say it real quickly. You see this Brexit deportation thing?
Yeah.
I've been listening to everybody talking a certain way, and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, where was you when we was getting deported? Where was this outrage? Because I have brothers and sisters that died, that are no longer here. I'm a family of 4. I'm now the oldest. So just my sister behind me, because we couldn't bring them here. Because we couldn't bring them here, because we couldn't do these things that people are fighting for and saying, oh, how dare they do this to us? And I didn't see no outrage. And I'm saying to you, like, I had to learn that. I had to learn, okay, wow, okay.
What did you have to learn?
I had to learn that, circumstances are what they are. And my parents actually had kids that they care about just like me, and they had to leave them behind.
So how do you, all of this, you have a very passionate view of life. and how you.
Don't we all?
We do, but not everyone's as articulate.
You don't strike me as not passionate.
I'm very passionate, but I think that everybody's as able to articulate the way their passions for life, the way that maybe you do.
It's my job, though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So, in your albums, obviously, I've listened to all your albums. How much do you think that you push out of this message that we're having now? Because you're having a conversation now. It's easy for people to understand. It's easy for us to pick it up. It's easy for us to see who Ty is. It's easy for us to understand how your background is, your past. How much do you think people hear your music and get that same information that we're getting from him?
I don't think they get the same. I think they get something else. I think that I never try to, like, oh my God, I'm going to rip strips off myself and give you everything. Because I think that, one, that's a little bit pushy. It's a little bit like, oh, look at me, look at this, stuff happened. It's like, actually, sometimes you just want to hear a beat. And sometimes you just want to hear a message. So I tried to put a lot of messages. The other side of that answer is I've had a lot of feedback where people have got married, have met at my gigs and had kids.
Oh, wow.
People have had, a girl said to me, there's a song called Rain on the Upwards album.
Yeah.
And a girl said to me, yeah, that was my boyfriend's favourite record. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, in my head, when she was telling me that, I was thinking, first of all, is this a Chirps? Where we going with this, baby? Where we going? And then she said it was his favourite record, then he died. So I'm still thinking, is it Chirps? Right. And then she said, yeah, because he died in a tsunami. And we used to listen to your album on the beach where that tsunami happened.
Wow.
Then I'm like, okay, Ben, buck down. Just be humble. Just take, wow. And you just never know. So coming from Brixton and then being able to jump out and travel around the world and have people kind of react to your music a certain way, it became serious a long time ago. Like, I'm literally meeting people that are like, yeah, I listened to your music when I was in college and now I'm a lawyer and and all of that. So that's what happens. You don't know it, but then you keep getting waves and waves and waves and waves of people kind of recounting these stories, and it's humbling. It's humbling as hell. I may not be rich, but when you feel like you've had an effect, or people have grown, or have been helped, or felt uplifted by your music, it's way beyond what you thought would happen.
It's very strange. It's almost like a bit like how when we used to have that Facebook group that you was actually a part of. The amount of people that have got married from it, had children from it, people that have come to have made lifelong friendships from it.
That group was the house party.
Yeah, it's mad, and we're not rich, as you can see. None of us are rich here, but when I die, or when my grandparents or my grandchildren or somebody asks me, what did you do with your life?
You invested. Yeah. That's
one thing I'm going to say I did. Well, I had this group with your uncle and blah, blah, I know your uncles, and I'll discuss it. And I say, and they'll be like, at the time, they're probably like, that's like Twitter, whatever.
It's
but
humbling.
I was like, at the time, it didn't happen.
It's humbling. I had someone come to me at a concert and be like, I want you to meet my wife, and we met at your show and here, and then they pulled out a picture and like, this is our child, and we met and it's the same place. It's a place called in Switzerland, what is it called?
Flosser.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'll probably hit me on the internet and I'll tell you. Bern, that's it, Bern. And they, I've had that, and nobody tells you when you're making music in the UK that is not being played on radio stations, so you don't necessarily. Then nobody tells you you're going to have that effect. So it is humbling, and that's why I'm very aware of the programming of. Oh yeah, it's all about this. You're only going to hear Wiley, and you're only going to hear. I'm aware of what is the trickle down when people make decisions to only play. See, like with this trap stuff that's going on, the drill music. What is the trickle down? Because this didn't just help itself. There are heads that have been comfortable with No, Westwood's very comfortable with pushing certain music, but he's not responsible for his actions. He's not responsible. He doesn't care about us family wise. So he's comfortable with just pushing certain things and going a certain way. Whereas we're in a situation where we're all kind of thinking, right, so you mean if I endorse this youth and he makes a song about killing, and he kills my cousin's nephew, I had something to do with that. We feel that way, whereas in certain people don't. And that's why I feel like, I make the music I make, because you just don't know how you're gonna affect.
Like a higher calling.
Yeah, and also grime-wise, for me to do a song with Dirty Goods, and it be a good song, and it get on the radio, and people, it's like, oh, but who would have, why? And I'm like, yeah, because if you just think about music and make good music, it's not about, it needs to be, we're very pack orientated, like, so you expect Dizzy and Kano and certain people to be on a record. You expect blah blah blah, but sometimes people don't make music for the sake of music. It's very kind of like, well, we're in this school.
Very intentional, yeah.
Yeah, it's a school. It's a school of it's a in crowd.
I got a question.
Yes.
You almost kind of answered it, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. Somebody comes to you and says that they want to sample one of your tracks for a track that they want to make.
Mm-hmm.
They sample your song. Do you have to be part of the process with that? They're taking a sample, they've made a track. Do you have to hear the track before it goes out or nothing like that? Okay, so let's say it goes out. It's a really, really famous song, but unfortunately, it's in the drill category, and they are talking about shooting people down or what have you. And the popularity of that song leads back to your original works because obviously they sampled it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you accept the new windfall of traffic, or do you actually educate them as to?
I accept it.
Okay,
I accept it. I think it's way too. It would be way too kind of stush to feel that like you got cousins or family. Sometimes someone might talk to you about something like, "Yeah, man, I fucked up somebody and I did," and you're like, "Okay." Rather than say, "No, you shouldn't say that."
Yeah.
It's like, at least you're talking to me about it.
Okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, if someone takes a sample of mine and then makes it famous in the drill trap, brilliant. Because you're my little brothers and you lot are famous and you're doing good things. I just want to see you win. If there's certain things that you're doing, and like with Poet and certain people, when they're talking about the dark skin thing and they're joking about it, I'm going to bring that up because I feel like that's a point where I have to say something.
Okay.
But as far as music and people doing things, I'm like, go. I'm not trying to hinder nobody.
How do you think you would deal with a situation? Because obviously a lot of the things that have come up with the social media now and the clapback is something that was acceptable before. It was acceptable to bust a joke, and now it's not acceptable. What would if there is something that you had done before where it was kind of like acceptable before, but now it's not, and somebody found it? How are you dealing with it? Are you apologizing? Are you saying, well, that was that and just deal with it, or what would you do? Because I'll look.
I let them go for it. Like if you find something and you want to do, and you want to use that against me, knowing that I'm the sort of person that people want to drag down anyway, because having an intelligent, intellectual black rapper that doesn't necessarily talk about certain things and speaks for the black community, sometimes people are always trying to find a portal to kind of and tie down. If you find that thing, you do it. Will I fight back? Will I answer? Will I respond? Yeah. Or if I'm wrong, I put my hand up and say it. I'm like, okay, yeah, I did that, and I'll just deal with it. I think that if you get caught out in something, you shouldn't be so adamant, especially on social media, to not apologize. It doesn't cost nothing. Your manhood level points don't dip if you apologize for something.
It happened to Stormzy, innit? With the gay thing.
Yeah, with the gay thing. Yeah. But also, it's happened to Stormzy with his girlfriend thing.
Yeah, both of them.
He's been quiet.
Mm-hmm. So he's been told by his people to fall back, give it a little time.
That's what you do. That's the clever thing to
Kanye
do.
could do with that kind of
I know his man
instruction.
Yeah, that's the clever thing to do. Because if he'd have gone and went, don't attack my girl, you'd have been finished.
All right then, it's getting late and we don't want to hold you for too long.
Okay, cool.
Is there anything that you want to say, whether it's anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Really quickly, I want to say that I'm an independent artist. I've been around for a long time, but people say that and it's like it's a bad thing. Like Diana Ross is Diana Ross. Marvin Gaye is Marvin Gaye. Be happy with that. I make independent music. I make heartfelt music. If you're listening to this podcast, go and check it out. Go and buy it. But please understand that an independent artist is not a mainstream artist. That means You're not going to see multiple adverts. You're not going to be streamlined into understanding what I'm doing. If this conversation is the only thing you hear to make you understand that maybe I should check my music out, go and check it out.
Okay, one more question.
I love that.
Okay, as an independent artist, how does the streaming stuff affect you?
It's a minor. It's a minor. It's like it's all like, as long as the reach is there and more people hear stuff, it's fine. Because realistically speaking, we're past the age of actually selling units to make money. Now it's about, you introduce units, you introduce a project, and then it's how you tour and all of that. Yeah. That's how you really make your money. Not from like, I sold 50,000 records.
Okay.
I jumped on 10 planes and went to do 10 shows, and then I sold 15 CDs at that show. That's how you monetize.
Okay.
Independent wise.
All right, I had one more question then. Just one more. You're a down to earth rapper. You've been in the game a long time, like you said. Now, when you spoke about the Mercury stuff and it opened up avenues, and there was a swirl of people around, did your head ever swell as well? Did you ever get big? How do you stay humble?
Let's get this straight. I'm not humble.
You said you were humble earlier.
I said I'm humble. I told you I lied earlier.
This is I was gonna say this is recorded. I can rewind and get that bit. But
yeah. I said I lie.
Okay, go ahead.
I do what I gotta do. Right? Ego always comes in. Ego's always gonna be a particular thing.
I like this.
Right? It always comes in. So there's gonna be moments where you kind of feel yourself, or you get a little bit. Ooh. My thing is, it's the people around you that keep you down. I come from a very big background of, like, Brixton absolutely checks me all the time. I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't be thinking like, I've been raised like, even if I've got money, I don't dress a certain way like I've got money, or if I've got certain, I don't do it because I come from a background that man will run up in your house and steal something, and that humbles you. And also, I just got a big community base of people that are just like, we're proud of you. And that Brixton song, I never seen a response to that. Like, people are like,
that's big, man. Trust me.
And that means the world to me. So yeah, so that's the thing. But as far as being humble or having no ego, it's impossible to not have an ego. But it's about, you rein it in. I come from a certain background that has helped me rein it in, and I've seen certain things. People have told me certain things. That helps me kind of like that. The balloon lifts off, and every now and then something just pulls it back down. Like that, you check yourself, bro. Check yourself.
You got no yes men around you.
Absolutely none.
I think that's important. Anybody else?
Ty, as an artist, what is your message?
What is my message?
Yeah,
my message is, your life is the soundtrack to your movie. Your life is the soundtrack to your movie. Your movie will inform what you do and why you're here. Go and find that. Make sure you find that. Make sure you understand that everyone here is a movie. Yeah, like if you think about it, if you was to make a movie, it's a movie. Whether it's a hit movie, I don't know. I can't talk for everybody, but it's a movie. It's an interest, and in that, from the beginning to the end, there's certain things that are happening that are important to someone else to watch. And I just want to, as far as my music is concerned, what I've tried to do is show people that you can actually be yourself and be effective. And that's what I'm here to do.
That's big.
All right, that's a good way to end the interview podcast, the special. One more thing, I got your album up here, the latest album. I'm gonna play out with a song. Which song I want you to choose? Don't tell us to choose. You choose.
Okay, being the beta man that I am.
Listen to episode 71 to understand what he's on about.
Right. I would say listen to Work of Heart.
It's one of my favorites.
Thank you.
All right, so we are gonna sign out now. We are thanking Ty for his coming through and being part of the podcast, episode number 71, and this special interview.
Thank you.
We really do appreciate it. I know we've discussed things earlier on where you spoke
Thank you
about.
for being the first group of black men to ask me to come and do a podcast.
Yeah.
We took our time because we thought you might say no. You know, this bougie man might say no.
I know most of you are known for nearly 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Even your brother, like, you know, we were raving together. So it was never going to be a no. Just had to put a bit of ego on it to make you understand.
Shout out MGF, by the way.
Yes, always.
Salute.
Big up, Joe.
Salute, man.
Birthday last week as they're listening to this. So, always big respect.
Big up.
All right. I think that's it. So thank you very much again. All right, signing out is Big Wahala, Simple Simon, that actor, Mr. Wolf. I am Stavros Boss, and the man himself with the new album, A Work of Heart. Get it in your stores. Well, which store can you get it in? Because
you can get it online. You can go to the store. The vinyl's sold out, so the vinyl's done.
Just before you leave.
Oh, we keep doing this.
Album art is fantastic.
Yeah, your album art is always good.
Always fantastic.
Yeah.
Always fantastic.
That wooden piece that you did on the other album as
Oh
well.
my gosh. I hope you got that in your house somewhere.
Yeah, Mum's got it.
Yeah, because that is fantastic.
Mum's got the Mercury Award as well. Like, as soon as that came, thank you, bang. I've never had that in my house.
You did jack. What's the one that you jacked the other artist? Was it where you're coming out the water?
Oh yeah, Grover Washington Jr. Yeah.
I know that's the inspired.
Yeah, and his family were cool with that. They got in contact. They were like, "We like what you're doing." Well, Karen, they were cool with that.
All right. So the man himself, big man himself, Ty. Thank you very much. This is A Work of Heart, the title track from his new album. Go out and get it, and support. We support you. You support us. Peace.
This is not a game, it's a calling. That's why I write furiously in the morning. While the birds tweet, I let the words leak. From the mind, in the mental, it's never coincidental, it's divine. So I recognize I can't sleep. Tap away at the papyrus. You admire us, but you do not understand what the fire does. Sacrifice good loving partners, me mugging. But the virus must manifest, goddess. God bless the child, I wanna see progress. I show fresh fruit. You can pine for the apple, but the man must go. And the rhyme must flow. This is hip-hop energy. Please note the enemy. Save the pit stops for Penelope. Download my melody. Shuck and jive in the shows. Prosperous for the dough, but poisonous for the soul. Work of art. Work of art. Work of art. Absolute. I love to burn to the roots. Work of art. Work of art. Work of art. Absolute. I love to burn to the roots. I lost my pigeon, words get written, scribbling to find my own religion. Vultures hover, there's bones for picking. Prima donnas caught slipping is a regular sight. Behold.